A rectangular plot of land in Cool Breeze community has a width of x meters and a length of x plus 2 meters. Write an expression for the area of this plot in terms of x. Notice that it says that it's a rectangular plot of land. So here we have a rectangle. It says that the width is x meters. So we have x meters for the width. And it says that the length is x plus 2 meters. Now they want us to write an expression for the area of this plot of land. Sorry, they want us to write an expression for the area of this plot in terms of x. Now, what is area? Well, area of a rectangle is equal to the length multiplied by the width. All right. So we're gonna take this expression and we multiply by this expression, and so we have x multiplied by x plus 2. All right. So that's the area. The area is equal to the length, right? It's the length multiplied by the width. That's the area of this. That's the area of this plot of land in terms of x. Length multiplied by width. Now, let's move on. What we're going to do is we're going to simplify this. So we have x multiplied by x, and that gives us x squared. And we have x multiplied by 2. So we have x multiplied by 2, and that gives us 2x. And so what we did was we distributed this x. And so we say x multiplied by x, that gives us x squared. We say x multiplied by 2x, that gives us, we say x multiplied by x, that gives us x squared. We say x multiplied by 2, and that gives us 2x. And that's the answer to this question. Okay, next it says a larger rectangular plot of land in the Sunnyside community has a length of 2x meters and a width of x minus 3 meters. Write an expression for the area of this plot in terms of x. So based on this question, our goal is to write an expression for the area of this plot of land in terms of x. What plot of land are we talking about? We're referring to Sunnyside, right? The plot of land in the Sunnyside community, all right? Now, so it is a rectangular plot of land, and it has a length of 2x, that's the length, 2x, and it has a width of x minus 3 meters. Now, what's the formula for the area of a rectangle? It's going to be length times width. So we take the length and we multiply it by the width. Again, we take the length and we multiply it by the width. And what we're going to do is we're going to distribute. So we take 2x. So we take 2x and we multiply it by x. And then we take 2x and we multiply it by 3. All right. So again, we distribute the 2x. So we take 2x and we multiply it by x. And then we take 2x and we multiply it by 3. Now 2x multiplied by x is 2x squared. And 2x multiplied by 3 is going to give us 6x. So we have 2x squared minus 6x. And that's the answer for the area of this plot of land in the Sunnyside community. Next, it says, the Sunnyside plot is 240 meters cubed. Now they say 240 meters cubed, but that's supposed to be 240 meters squared, right? So the Sunnyside plot is 240 meters squared larger than the Cool Breeze plot. Write an equation to represent this information and solve for x. And so we know that this expression is for Sunnyside, the plot of land that's in Sunnyside, and this expression is for the plot of land that is in Cool Breeze. Now we have to subtract them, right? And we put the area of the plot of, the area of the plot of land in Sunnyside first, because remember this one is larger, right? So this is the bigger one. So we have the bigger one, the bigger area minus the smaller area. So the one in Sunnyside minus the one in Cool Breeze. And when we subtract them, we should get 240, all right? Because it says that Sunnyside is 240 meters squared larger than Cool Breeze. So that means that when we subtract these two areas, we should get 240. And so here we have an equation. So this is an equation to represent this information. But they want us to write an equation to represent this information and solve for x, all right? So let's simplify this equation first. So what we have here, I just remove the brackets, but um, but I also distributed this -1. So we have -1 multiplied by x squared, and that gives us a negative x squared. And you have a -1, right, multiplied by positive 2x, and that gives us a negative 2x. And so now we're gonna combine the like terms. So we have 2x squared, and we have negative x squared, so we bring them together. So 2x squared minus x squared, we bring them together. Then we have a negative 6x, right, negative 6x minus 2x, so we bring that together. And that's supposed to be equal to 240. Now let's combine these like terms. What is 2x squared minus x squared? Well, 2x squared minus x squared is simply x squared. We bring down the negative 6x and the negative 2x, and we set it equal to 240. Now, what is negative 6x minus 2x? Well, negative 6x minus 2x is equal to negative 8x. So we have that x squared minus 8x is equal to 240. So this right here is the equation that is used to represent this information. But we have to solve this equation. Now, this equation is a quadratic equation because the highest power of x is 2. And so we're going to use, oh, there's one more thing. Before we apply the quadratic formula, we have to take this 240 and send it over the equal sign. Okay, so now when we take that 240 and send it over the equal sign, we have that x squared minus 8x is equal, I'm sorry, we have x squared minus 8x minus 240 is equal to 0. And this right here is written in a way that we could apply the quadratic equation. Plus, this right here is the equation that is used to represent the information that they gave us, right? And so this is a simplified form of this equation above. Okay, so now we're going to use the quadratic formula. The quadratic formula says that if we have a quadratic equation expressed in the following way with ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0, then x, the solution for x, is going to be equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And so that's the quadratic formula. And so we're going to apply the quadratic formula here. So the term in front of x squared is a. The term in front of x is b, and the constant is c. So if we go here, right, what's the coefficient of x squared? Well, the coefficient of x squared is what? 1, all right? So the coefficient of x squared is 1. So that means that a is equal to 1. The coefficient of x, right, the number in front of x is what? Is a negative 8. So b is a negative 8, all right? And the constant is a negative 240. So that's why c is equal to negative 240. And so since we know that a is 1, b is a negative 8, and c is negative 240, we can apply the quadratic formula. And so we have the following. So I have this again, okay. And so what we have, the quadratic formula, which is x is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. We substitute, we know that b is equal to negative 8. So we put negative 8 here, right? Negative 8 here. So this is where we put it. So b is equal to negative 8. We have plus or minus the square root of, what is b? B is equal to negative 8, all right? What is a? A is equal to 1. And what is c? C is equal to negative 240. And what is a? A is equal to 1. So we put that at the bottom. And so now we have this numerical expression, and we have to simplify it. What we're gonna do here is we're going to evaluate all of the numbers underneath the square root sign. So we have negative 8 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 240. And that gives us 1,024. So when we put all this inside the calculator, we get 1,024. And so we have the square root of 1,024. We have plus or minus, and we know that negative times a negative, again, negative times a negative is positive, so that's why we have a positive 8 here. So we have 8 plus or minus the square root of 1,024 all over 2, all right? And so now here, what we have here is we have plus or minus. So x can be positive, X can be, X can have two solutions, right? Or one solution where we have the sign in the middle here is a positive sign, and the next solution where the sign here is a negative or a subtraction sign. And so let's deal with the solution where the sign in the middle here is positive, and we're going to call the solution X sub positive. And so we have 8 plus the square root of 1024 all over 2. And so when we take the square root of 1024, we get 32. So we have 8 plus 32. Again, 8 plus 32, and we divide that by 2. And 8 plus 32 is 40. So we have 40 divided by 2. And 40 divided by 2 is 20. So X positive is equal to 20. Now we're going to go to X sub negative, which means that the sign in between here is going to be not a positive, but a negative this time. And so we have 8 minus the square root of 1024 divided by 2. And we have 8 minus the square root of 1024 all over 2. Now, the square root of 1024 is 32. So we have 8 minus 32, and 8 minus 32 is definitely negative 24. And so we have a negative 24 divided by 2, and negative 24 divided by 2 is simply negative 12. And so we have two values for X. We have that X is equal to 20 and X is equal to negative 12. And so the answer is, the answer for X is 20, positive 20. And the reason is because in real life, right, the actual length or width of a plot of land can never be negative. All right, so we can have negative 12 meters, right, in real life. So we only get have positive values for our lengths. So in real life, the actual length or width of a plot of land can never be negative. So we ignore the negative result. So the answer here is X is equal to 20. Okay, so now they ask us, okay, okay, so we're gonna move on to so we just finished part C. Now we're gonna move on to part D. What does part D say? Now in part D, what they actually want us to do is they want us to find the length and width of the sunny side plot. So we have the length of this plot that is in sunny side community. It has a length of 2x meters, all right, 2x meters, and it has a width of x minus 3 meters. So what is the actual length and width of the plot of land that is in sunny side plot? Sorry, what is the actual length and width of the plot of land that is in the sunny side community? Now, the width is equal to x minus 3, and we know that because it says it has a width of x minus 3 meters. Now we know from the previous, now we know from what we discovered earlier that x is equal to 20. So we have 20 minus 3, and 20 minus 3 is 17. So that means that the length, I'm sorry, that means that the width of the plot that's in the sunny side community is 17 meters. Now we need to find out the length of the plot of land that's in the sunny side community. Now it says that the length is 2x, or 2 multiplied by x. And we know that x is 20, so we say 2 times 20. And 2 times 20 is 40 meters. So the length of the plot of land in the sunny side community is 17 meters. And the width of the plot of land in the sunny side community is 17 meters. And the length of the plot of land in the sunny side community is 40 meters. And that's the answer to this question.